Yo, Bo, welcome to another episode of In the Life of MightyFan. It's been a while since I've done just a regular In the Life, right? There's been the In the Life Iced, which will continue. We have many more episodes of that to come, as well as the Season of the Fan, and even the Mighty Reviews, which I'm remiss that I wasn't able to do what I wanted to do because I didn't realize these things were going to sell out that quickly. I had full intentions of doing a Mighty Reviews for the Grinch meal at McDonald's and also for the SpongeBob deal at Burger King, and they're not available anymore. I didn't realize. I did not think that these things would just be gone. I just because I don't really remember fast food items being like that. Like they're even the limited time stuff. They're there until the company decides it's over, right? It's not because people bought them all up, right? But I guess these were just super popular, and it's a shame because I did want to try. I wanted to try that Patrick, that pie, whatever that slice of pie was, the Patrick Star pie or whatever it was. I wanted to try that. That was the thing I wanted to get the most, and I delayed it. I just didn't. It didn't enter my brain that these things are going to be gone because people are going to be the reason that they're gone. And the Grinch meal too. In fact, the Grinch meal was still available as of that Monday of the week I was going to do it. And then the day I was going to do it, I checked; they were all gone. I'm like, at every McDonald's in my area. So I'm like, should have done that Monday. Oh well, we'll have to find something else for another Mighty Reviews at some point. But that was disappointing. That really was. I wanted to review both things, and I couldn't. All these crazies out there just wouldn't let me do it. But it is what it is. Oh my goodness! So really, the basis behind this in the life is I have some lid pickups here. I have some hockey hats, but I'm going to save that for the In the Life Ice series, hockey related hats. But we have some non hockey related hats here. Various areas I got them from. So over the past week or two. And I figured I would share that. A couple, including two unboxings here from Hat Club. They just came in the mail today, and had a wonderful weekend this past weekend over at my buddy Slim's. So shout out to Big Slim, and shout out to Resurrection because the two of them were the reason why I went. Rez was in the area making a trip from the Bay Area to the East Coast to see his guy, John Cena, wrestle one more time on his final wrestling event at the Capital One Center in Washington D.C. And Rez, being the huge Cena fan that he is, was able to be there, and you couldn't miss him if you saw the event on TV that night. I mean, Rez had third row back, and from where the camera shows the ring, you would see Rez. He was holding up his sign. Thanks for the memories, Cena sign. I mean, you definitely couldn't miss him. He was just about in every time you saw the wrestling going, you would see Rez. You would see him sometimes on his phone, or his just reactions to whatever was going on. In fact, it was funny because Slim and I, we were watching, and our buddy Dewey, we were watching the game. The wrestling, the match on Peacock at Slim's place after dropping Rez off earlier in the day because he was staying with Slim while he was there for the event, and. I don't know if we watched the wrestling more or Rez more, but it was awesome that Rez had that chance to do it. I mean, it's a once in a lifetime thing, and as long as I've known Rez, and we go back. I mean, Rez was one of the OGs for the Jersey Heads on YouTube. I mean, as long as I've known him, every time I see John Cena, I think of Rez because Rez has always been the biggest Cena fan that I've known. And I'm not a big wrestling guy. I don't follow it. I know enough about to know who the big stars was. Like, I know who John Cena is. I know who The Rock was, right? I know all these different big time, wrestlers. I know who they are. I mean, how can you not, But I don't follow it, But I always had a lot of respect for the wrestlers because I know the dedication that they have to do what they do. And they are athletes. I mean, make no doubt about it. I mean, I sat there, I watched that. It's probably the first time, one of the first times, I've watched a full wrestling event, basically from start to finish. And I mean, the things that they're doing. I mean, you had one of these women that wrestlers. I mean, she did a full flip over the ropes, and it was it's just mind-boggling the things that they do. They have to be so precise because one wrong millisecond move, and they could really get hurt. I mean, people say, "Oh, it's fake, fake, fake." Yeah, but they have to do this stuff, and it really is amazing. And I've always had a lot of respect for them because they what they go through just to make it to the top level, to the WWE. You talk about just a life of hits and misses. And then they have to have a niche. They have to have a character. They have to have something that the fans are going to react to, good or bad. And Cena did it. I mean, at first, he didn't. And he was close. He was close to being out. And then he came up with that character. He came up with the rapping and his outfits and everything that he did, the thugonomics and all this and that. He created that. And that's how he was able to last for so long that he did and win his 17 championships and just be that guy, whether people like him or not. I mean, he had a big impact on wrestling, and even me, a novice, knows that, So, but anyhow, I mean, anytime I would see him in a movie or whatever, advertising or whatever, or the voice of Honda, as slim as that. Slim can't stand it. But I think of Rez because of what John Cena means to him and how much Cena's helped him through his life. Just being the Rez's fandom of Cena has helped him through a lot of things. And, Rez did a vlog earlier in the year from Las Vegas. He was at another event with Cena, a wrestling event, I think WrestleMania or whatever. And I think it's when Cena won number 17. And just that video, that vlog, and seeing Rez's passion in that vlog and him in the arena videoing what was going on and doing that whole thing, and all of this and that. And there was a big board where he signed it, where Rez signed it and put his own little message there. And, it got me, man. It got me a little choked up. I'm not afraid to admit to it because I know what that kind of passion is. Because I certainly have it for my teams, right? I have it for my teams. I have it for what I do with the jersey collecting and sports. I have that, So I know completely what that is. And to see how much that meant to him and how, I was so happy for him that he was able to be there for that. And then for him to be able to be at this event, and for us, Slim and I, to have a little hand in helping him achieve this, that meant a lot. It really did. I saw what that meant to Rez. And even watching that final performance and when Cena did his bows and walked away, it got me a little bit. It did, because I thought of Rez, and I thought of all of his fans and how much that guy meant to so many people and what... John Cena is one of those guys who, look, people talk about athletes and this and that, and some are, really good with their fans and some are not. And the one thing I always, tip my cap to Cena for is that he's always been good with his fans. He's always there. He signs. He's at many different events. He gives his time for them, right? And you can't always say that about these athletes, right? You just can't. But I think Cena and others like him that do it, I respect that, because it's a time-consuming thing. We all know, and the fact that he's committed so much of his time to do things for fans, it's an awesome thing. And I know he'll continue to do that. So when he kind of took his last bows and left. It got me a little bit because, again, thinking about how much he meant to so many and people like Rez and how that must have been. I can imagine it, because I've seen my all-time favorite, athletes in their last games. I remember Jordan when he finally, really retired. After those days with the Wizards, I remember, Iverson in his last, games. And then he retired, and some other players, that I just grew up and was such a big fan of. And so I can imagine what that must have felt like. But it was awesome. It was great. I mean, Slim and I, like I said, Rez stayed at Slim's. I went there on Friday night, and I was there through the weekend. And I, I drove from in the snow. We took two trips. We went there in the morning on Saturday morning to drop Rez off because they had this big convention, like a store just devoted to John Cena merch for the event and what have you, and some other stuff. And so Rez was able to go there and do what stay there for a bit before he had to go into the Capital One Center. And the store was literally next to the Capital One Center. So I've never been to the Capital One Center. I never saw it. And seeing it for the first time, as many times as I've seen the Flyers, play the Capitals on TV there, or the Sixers play the Wizards. I mean, it really sneaks up on you. If you don't know it's there, like you would go right by it, But it was pretty cool, and we dropped him off. We came back to Slim's area, because from Slim's place to the Capital One Center was roughly about an hour drive, so it wasn't too bad, and it was super cold, and it was like we're like, what are we gonna do, Because we didn't have tickets to the event. And so, what are we supposed to do? So I told Slim, I said, let's just go back to your area. We'll get something to eat there. We'll just stay there. And it's, we can, go back to his house. We'll watch the event. And then we'll go pick up Rez. And that's what we did. And, so going back to pick him up at night, and it started snowing. Because we got a bit of a snowstorm here on the East Coast. Rez never saw snow before. He's from the Bay Area out in California, so this is all new to him. And we're coming back. And it's like, I've seen, like, Slim, we've seen snow plenty of times. But Rez, this is like the first. And he's wearing his Cena outfit. So he's got the jorts on. He's got the T-shirt on. And he wasn't quite ready for that kind of cold or the snow. And we're driving around it's late at night. We're trying to figure out where we're going to go to eat. We bypassed the Taco Bell, which we were thinking about doing Taco Bell. We ended up going to a 7-Eleven and getting some food from there. And you get out of the Jeep, and Rez got the pumps on. Cena used to wear the pumps. Rez got the pumps. And he's like, I don't think pumps are made for snow. Yeah, I don't think so. But just Rez's reaction to the snow was something. He's like, I don't know how you guys do this. I don't know how you live here with this. And it was only like, maybe anywhere between 3 to 5 inches of snow that storm. It was a decent storm though. It was, but I'm like, yeah, this is. We've seen much more than this. This is a good storm, but we've seen a lot more. And it was funny because near where Slim lives, there's a big hill and there's a road. I've nicknamed that road and that hill Howering. Howering. I can't speak right. Howering Hill, because a couple years back there was a bigger storm that came by, slightly bigger, I guess. And Slim and I were watching some playoff games at a restaurant down the hill, much down the street from him. And obviously the roads weren't exactly greatly treated at that point. Snowplows still hadn't really gone by. They started to, but not, it was still kind of early. But there was still a decent amount of snow on the road. So after the game, we went back to his place and we drove up there. And I drove up there, and it was it took all I could to get the Jeep up there. I mean, snow plows are passing me. It was. So I nicknamed the road Howering Hill. From that point on. And so we had to go back up it, and I'm just the back of my mind. I'm like, oh man, the last time. But the one thing is, like, well, it had been snowing long enough, and they had treated the roads good beforehand, lots of salt and everything. So I'm like, well, it really probably isn't going to be as bad as it was that other time, and it wasn't, but it was still an adventure. So we're going up the hill, and, and I'm at the wheel there, and I'm driving, and we're going to one section where there's a little turn, and, and I'm driving it, and it's one of those moments where you're starting to drift, and there was a snowbank, and I basically bounced off of it and went back, kept going up the hill. And Slim's sitting in the passenger seat, and Rez is in the back, and Slim's like, "Oh, we're going in." And I went up. I said, "No, that's all right. It just knows you're here. That's all." Just kept driving. Uh, it was one of those things. And we got up there. It wasn't as bad as it was those years ago, but it got a little hairy. But we got up to the house, and the next morning I remember, and Rez is just looking at all this snow on the ground. He's just wide eyed. My God, and then, we're cleaning the snow off the Jeep because we were gonna go get some lunch, and I told Rez, I said, all this vlogging that you did, I wish I would have asked you to vlog from the back seat driving up the hill. It's it's the one, I think it's the one regret, because that would have been kind of cool to see me clutching the wheel and Slim's reactions to things. And yep, we're going in. Oh my, yeah, Howering Hill. Yep. But defeated it again in less time this time. The wheels didn't spin as much as they did the other year, the first time I had to do that. But it was an awesome experience for Rez, and it was awesome experience for all of us. It was just great conversations afterwards, and through the weekend, and nice to spend some time with Rez, and nice to, it was great that he was able to do that. I know how much it meant to him, and memories to last a lifetime. I mean, regardless of how the match went, again, it was his final match, and Rez was able to not only be there, but to have the airtime that he did on that TV. The only problem was that they came back from commercial once, and they were showing all different people with signs up, but they were doing the ad spot too. They were saying, "Oh, and this is the main event sponsored by Tropicana," and they had. As soon as the camera was on one guy, and it was panning over to where Rez was, and you saw Rez, but then the ad came right over him for Tropicana. And Slim and I were like, "Oh no!" They got the Rez and they put the damn Tropicana sign in front of it. But that was the only shame of as far as the broadcast went. But if you watched, every single match, there's Rez, third row, and you just couldn't miss him because some guy behind him, how many rows back, had this big like fat head of a bulldog head. The whole time, I couldn't imagine being the person behind that guy because he had that thing up the whole time. But Rez, I mean, so you would see the guy, the bulldog head, and you just have to look a little ahead of him, and there's Rez, either just there or just holding up the sign. But there were some really cool moments that Slim got a really nice shot of Rez holding up the sign and Cena looking at the crowd, and you can see the back of Cena, and you see Rez holding up the sign. And I'm like, all right, well, that may have made up for the Tropicana incident. So that was a cool thing that Slim was able to grab off the TV with his camera. Nice shot there. But so that was the weekend. Fun weekend with good friends, and I again, man, Rez. Shout out to you, man. I'm glad you were able to do this. I'm glad you did it. I know it was financially strapping to do it. But at the end of the day, it's memories, man. It's we talked about different sports memories over the weekend and whatnot, and this is one that you can always say that you were there and you were part of it and you were on TV. And like I said, Slim and I are very glad that we were able to aid in the way to make sure it happened for you. And we know how much it meant for you. And just so happy that everything worked out the way it did. I thought it was really cool. Me, a novice, but I thought the whole thing was neat, and how the WWE does it and all the things that they do, and it's all the events and everything for the fans, and they really go all out. They do. So I will always have that respect for that company for that. I think they treat their fans pretty good. So very cool event. It was great that you were able to do that, and it was a super fun weekend. And now Old Bay too. He had some Old Bay fries with the seasoning on there. Oh, I told you, Slim and I told you, it's good stuff. But at any rate, so that was the weekend. Like I said, lots of fun, lots of good memories for all of us. Really, but obviously, especially for Rez. So, super cool. Other than that, now we're getting a little closer to Christmas, just about a week away, and New Year's just about 2 weeks away. I usually do a vid where I do collecting resolutions, and, I never did get to mine this year. I was gonna document document the collection in Excel format. Didn't really get to that, but hopefully next year we can make that happen. As far as the collecting, it's just something that I have a lot of passion for, as we all know. I love doing it. There's still plenty of stuff out there, to look after and to try to acquire, if possible. Hockey, certainly, there's still some stuff out there. I saw recently Cool Hockey got all the newer, alternate jerseys in. The stuff that they, teams have started to wear this year. The one complaint that I do have, though, is Cool Hockey's usually up to date with the roster. Like, when you get you can do the custom option, well, you have to do, unless the player jersey is already made up, you can go and do a custom option. You can pick from any player from that whole roster for that season, right? Or you can do your own. You can put your own name on the back if you want. But so I do want to get at some point. I don't know when, but at some point I want to get the new Blackhawks alternate black jersey. And I guess if you want to see, I'm a little invested into Connor Bedard at this point. I have a few Bedard jerseys, including his rookie. So I have a decent little Bedard collection. And for the first time, he's lettering now. He has an alternate A on his uniform. So he's an alternate captain for the first time in his career. So I would like to get the black alternate Blackhawks Connor Bedard jersey, but I want it with the A on there. And if you look on, the only place I know that still has them outside of Cool Hockey is Fanatics, but they only have the Fanatic version, so you're not going to get the A on there. Cool Hockey, you can do it, but the problem is I can't get the A on his jersey because it's not an option if you buy his jersey. There's no option where you can add a letter to a jersey if the jersey's already done up. The only way you can do that is use the custom option, but they have it to the roster, so he's there, but I guess they don't have it up to date because there's no A next to his name, so it won't come with the alternate, A patch, and I need that damn alternate A patch, and I'm thinking, if they could just be a little more. I guess it was somewhat recent that he became an alternate captain, and I'm like, if they could just change that. I want that A on there. I really do. I could get another player. and just say, okay, well, I have the jersey. I think if I'm not mistaken, the rule is you have the teams that wear an alternate jersey have to wear them for at least 3 years till they change. And I'm sure this one being as popular as the Blackhawks are probably just going to wear it for a long period of time. So there'll be a chance, at some point to get his jersey with the A. But that's something I'd like to do, and I don't seem to have availability to do it unless Fanatics um, restocks their custom availability with that, because I know on Fanatics you can put the name and it has the option below it to put a captain or a alternate captain patch on. So there's always that. Or Cool Hockey updates the roster and they put the A next to Bedard, so I'm sure to do it. I don't know. Maybe I look around a little more. Maybe there's another way. Maybe there's a way to contact them and say, "Hey, can you make sure the A's on there?" I don't know, but look, I'm a completist. Okay, if the jersey has to be a certain way, I want it that certain way. So I don't want to settle. I don't want to settle. If it's supposed to have a patch, I want the patch. If it's a player, not always, but if I have a little collection of a player, and there's for hockey, and they have an A or they have a C, I want that A or C. I want that on the jersey because it belongs on there. So that's one of those little conundrums right now for that jersey. I was glad to see that Cool Hockey got a bunch of them in, but they're not completed just yet. And the other thing is they don't have any of the new patches, the anniversary year patches. I guess those are going to come later, because I do want. At some point, I want to get the Wild with the 25th. I want that with the 25th. If it's the throwback one, which would be preferable, or even if it's the green alternate, but I want it with the 25th. And there's a seller on Macari who I've purchased from, and we've had some writing messages back and forth. Because I asked him, because he was selling the Wild 25th anniversary jersey, and it has the patch on there because he gets it right from the team shop. I guess he lives in Minnesota. He goes to Wild games, and he gets it right from their pro shop. And I asked him, I wrote him, because the one he was selling was too small for me, and I asked him, is there a chance to get one in my size of 56? He said, if he ever, sometimes the bigger size is a little more tricky, but if he does get one, he'll let me know. And so, yeah. So, look, rumors are rumors. We all know this. But, look, I'm a Flyers fan, right? I still believe in what they're doing. I believe in Briere and Jonesy. I like what they've done so far. I really hope that they extend Seagrass and Vladar. And I guess, Drysdale. I mean, they have some players to extend the contracts to, and I'm sure they'll get to it. And they better. But, but one of the rumors going around was the Flyers had interest in Quinn Hughes, of course, the defenseman, really, really good player from Vancouver. You think of like a Cale Makar kind of player, that's him. And, of course, his brothers play on the Devils. And, of course, there was rumors about the Devils getting him, and I'm like, no. Don't let that in Detroit, other Eastern Conference teams. And it was really hot there for a moment with the Flyers. And I'm like, man, that would be a great move. And, I don't know what they would have to give up, some draft picks and maybe a couple prospect kind of players. Or they apparently the Canucks wanted an NHL ready player, young NHL ready player. The Flyers have a few of those. I know that they weren't going to move Mishkov. They weren't going to move Martone. They weren't going to do that, but they have some other players that maybe could have been available, maybe like an Owen Tippett, Sam York. I mean, Sam York, Cam York, some other players. They were young and are in the NHL right now. I said Sam because I'm thinking Sanheim, but I don't think they would have moved him. But so there were some options there, and also Rick Tocchet, who's the coach of the Flyers right now, was the coach of Vancouver, and he and Quinn had a good relationship while he was there. So that was another connect the dots kind of thing. And I'm thinking, no one's thinking that Quinn was going to get moved right now. This is like, okay, maybe this is like a trade deadline deal. Maybe this is something like that. And like as soon as I get to Slim's house on Friday night, I look at my phone. I had the ESPN alert, and Quinn just got moved to Jake's Minnesota Wild. And I'm like, the Wild? Where'd they come from? They weren't even in any discussion of rumors. All of a sudden, the Wild swooped in, but they were willing to give up the package it took to get Quinn Hughes, and no, good on them, right? They were able to do it. They had an access of talent that they were able to do it, and they did it, right? They made the move. Flyers didn't, and other teams didn't. I'm glad he didn't go to the East. If he would have gone to the Devils or something like that. Devils. But anyhow, so that was disappointing, and I'm like, and I'm already kind of in my feels about it, because as a Flyer, I really want them to have success. It's been too long. I know it's a rebuild. I know it's going to take time. I get that. I'm patient enough. I want to see playoff hockey again. I really do. And I don't know if it's going to come this year or next year. Look, they still have some pieces they have to get. But God, I want this team to be good. I'm so jealous of these other places that have these great hockey, and they just have these playoff runs. For some reason, Florida has become this big hockey hotbed. It doesn't snow. There's no ice. There's no scraping of the windows. But yet, the Panthers, the Lightning, it's annoying. But I need that. I need playoff runs. It's like we had 2010 and that was it. That was it. As soon as that Kane goal went in overtime that only Patrick Kane and Leighton knew that was in the net. Flyers haven't really gone past the second round ever since. Besides maybe once, I think. Maybe. I think they lost to the Devils in the Eastern Conference that year, if I'm remembering. But it's all jumbled up now. But they just I want playoff hockey again here. I want that. I want the Flyers to get in and to be playoff good again. Because it's awesome when they are. It's a great thing. And Quinn would have been a player. Boy, you got him. If anything else, I think we're getting playoff hockey this year. And he goes to the Wild, and I'm just sitting there. I'm going, Minnesota. I get it. Minnesota. Where did they come from? It's like they weren't. There was no talking about Minnesota. Really? The sneaky Wild jumping in there at the end, but no. So that was, and I'm just that. I'm taking my bags out of the car. I'm walking up, and I'm already a little chagrined about. I'm like, Quinn, kid, he went to the Wild. Damn it! That's a move that we could have made. And I get in there, and I get a message. I didn't see it till the next morning, but it was from that seller on Macari, and he's like, I think I might be able to get a Quinn Hughes 25th anniversary jersey if you want. I'm like, no, I'm a little in my feels about that one. I wish he was a Flyer. Congrats on getting him, but I wanted him. I wanted Quinn. I have his Canucks jersey, so it would have made sense. I could have gotten his Flyers jersey, put them together. I don't think I'm getting his Wild. That one hurt me a little bit, but I want one, but I want Kaprizov or Boldy. I've stuck on those two play. I want one of them for the 25th with the patch. It has to have the patch though. Without the patch, and I don't know why it's not more available with the damn patch on there, because it's an anniversary year. They should have it with the patch, but. That's the only way I want to get one. It's either Kaprizov or Boldy. I can't get Quinn. It just brings up a bit of a pain for me, so I don't want to do that. I'm jelly of that. I really am. Because the Wild were already good. Now they get Quinn Hughes. It's like, But congrats to the Wild. Jake, congrats to you. I'm sure you're going to get a Quinn Hughes jersey at some point. I'm just going to have to sit here with my Michkov jersey. I still haven't gotten Zegras. Because I want to make sure he's going to be here. They got to extend him. Then I'll get his Flyers jersey. They extended for 7 years. All right, number 46, Zegras, I'm ready. I really hope they extend. If they let him get away. Danny, we got some explaining to do if that happens. But no, I'm pretty confident they'll get it done. But I'm waiting on getting that jersey until that happens, and I'll be all Zegressed up. I have his Ducks jersey. I have the reverse retro of it I got from Cool Hockey. So I already have one. I'm waiting. I don't want to be burned. That's the biggest problem with buying jerseys, right? Current jerseys. You get a player, unless it's a guy like Steph Curry's going to be there for years, whatever. You don't have to worry as much. You get these jerseys, and I get it. It's about with hockey. It's about the crest on the front more than the name on the back, and I still get jerseys of with the players not on the team anymore. But it is a little. It's like you get a jersey, and the player is on the team, and then he gets traded, and it's like, it is what it is. That's the risk you run. I think even Fanatics had like jersey insurance or whatever it was, which was like an extra. If the player got traded, how long after you got the jersey you can exchange it for a new one. I never do that, but it is what it is, And I'm not one of those collectors with it has to have the name and number. I can't get blank jerseys. I can't do it. It's just there's a mental block with me. It's like if I'm going to spend it has to have the name and number. I can't get a blank. I know you can get them customized. You can send them places. To me, I've always seen that as just extra work. More money involved because now you gotta ship it, and then you gotta pay for it to get done. If I can just get it already with the name and number, I want that name and number. It completes the jersey. A blank jersey is not complete to me. Even if the player's not on the team anymore, I need the damn name and number on the back because then it completes the jersey for me. I can't. But particularly if it's supposed to have an anniversary patch or something. I need that. I need that extra. Now, a patch, maybe I can get. There's a place that I can go nearby that they can sew the patches on. I've done it. I probably should do it more. I'm slow rolling a few things, which I'm going to get to a few of them in January. Slim, I know Slim's like, oh, he's not. I'll believe it when I see it. All right, we're going to see. January. But the patch, yeah, I can do that, right? And you can find the patches, eBay, what have you. But if I can get it already on the jersey, that just makes life a little more easier for me. And I'm that much more happier when I get it because to me, it's completed. It has the patch. I do a little happy dance. And then, and then it goes with the numerous other jerseys on the rack. It's just, yeah. But no, there are certain ones that are out, like I said, that Wild but I want that 25th. I want that on the shoulder. I want that on the shoulder. If this seller can do it, can get one at some point. Aside from Quinn Hughes, then that's how I'll do it. Other jersey news, right? Let's see. So yeah, Cool Hockey getting that stuff in. That was cool, but they're still not 100% up to date with it. Because like I said, they didn't get the anniversary patches in. And the roster, like at least for the Blackhawks, Bedard is an alternate. And when you go to the roster, he doesn't have the A next to the name. I'm like it's so close. It's there. It just update the roster again. Whatever you have to do, put the A on there. Then I can. It's a little thing, but it means so much. So there's that. Yeah, the Stadium Series jerseys came out for Tampa Bay and Boston. Full disclosure, I did get Tampa because it was different. But I really wish, and I know a lot of people have said this. Larry said this in his channel, Larry's House of Hockey, shout out to him. Boy, there was an opportunity lost with that one. So the Lightning came out, and I don't, my channel's so bare bone, right? I'm not gonna put the picture up, right? You've seen these jerseys already, I'm sure. Tampa Bay had the TBL down the front. So years ago, when they were in an outdoor game, their jersey, which I own, Stamkos, speaking of guys who are no longer on the team, but it had the bolts. They wrote bolts, and it was kind of a homage to an old jersey they had with the bolts, which I really liked. They used to have an alternate that had bolts. I think they had it twice. They had it in blue, and then they brought it back in black. It had bolts down the front, and it had this big lightning bolt. It was a really nice jersey, particularly in hand. If you see that jersey in hand, it's really a nice one. So I get why they kind of wanted to do the word mark again, but they didn't have to. Tampa could have had, in my opinion, a top 3 all-time outdoor game jersey. If they would have taken the logo, that's a patch, that's like the Gasparilla logo of the pirate skull and whatever lightning, but whatever it was on the shoulder, and put that as the crest on the front, and you could have done the TBL on the shoulder. Right? Kind of similar to what Florida did with their reverse retro, what was it, the 2.0, when they did the palm tree, stick logo on the front, and then they put the FLA on the shoulder. Looked really good. So Tampa does the TBL down the front instead of putting that really nice looking logo on the shoulder, on the front. The big and bold crest. Now, I understand they used it as a shoulder. They have some embossings on the sleeves with skulls and stuff. I mean, the rest of the jersey, I mean, they really did it up. The inside has, like a piratey kind of design. But I'm thinking, this game is going to be in Raymond James Stadium, the home of the Bucks, the pirate ship. And you could have put that on the front. And they went with the TBL. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, okay, well, I still like the jersey enough that I'll purchase it. But boy, if they just would have put that crest on the front, that would have been, I think it would have been an instant sellout too. I think that jersey would not have lasted long online if they would have done that. That would have been something if they would have done that. And I was hoping that they would do a pirate theme because it's Tampa, because they're playing at Raymond James with a pirate ship and all the pirate theme that's there. It makes sense. And they did, but they didn't go all out. I don't know. I think sometimes teams tend to go safe instead of going a little crazy. Like when the NHL, when the hockey team, when they wore in the '90s, like the Wild Wing for the Ducks, the Fishermen for the Islanders, the Pooh Bear for the Bruins, the Kings, the Burger King, those. When they just went nuts, right? And they kind of did with the reverse retros. Sometimes they did, sometimes they didn't. But they kind of embraced some of those old uniforms, right? Logos, what have you. But these outdoor games, and Larry said this, and I absolutely agree. What the Columbus Blue Jackets did last year with the huge cannon on front of the jersey, that's one of the all-time best outdoor game jerseys I've ever seen. And I have it. It's beautiful. And when you see it, you know exactly that's the Columbus Blue Jackets. Like, that's all you have to see is the cannon. That's the Blue Jackets, right? Tampa Bay, and I know their name is the Lightning, right? So if you would have done something with a bolt, okay, put the skull on the front. Put lightning bolts coming, like lightning bolts as the cross swords or something. It's the Tampa Bay Lightning. When you see that jersey, that's what it is. But it's like they got conservative. They said, all right, TBL. No, not TBL. Put the damn skull on the front. That's what people want to see. But I don't know, the designers, they hold back. It's an outdoor game. You got to wear something that's big and bold. You got to just have fun, right? That's what it is. Every team that plays these games, their uniform they should have a huge crest on the front so you can see them from the stands, right? Like that cannon. Yeah, not only was there a cannon on the front, it is a huge cannon. Like you see that, and you can see it from the cheap seats up at the top. And what was it, the horseshoe that they played in last year? You could see that cannon. They got to do that. Just have fun with the uniform. Go all out. Why not? You're only going to wear it for that game. So go nuts. Go crazy. You can homage the team's history, whatever. The Bruins with the yellow, with the bear. And then the Boston. Larry said, it's so true. Why in the hell do you have Boston? Everyone knows the Bruins are in Boston. You don't need the Boston across the front. Everyone knows where they play. The team's over 100 years old. Boston. I'm in my fields with Boston teams anyhow. So I'm a Philly guy, so you know what it is. But anyhow, the Boston, yeah, they're Boston. But the Tampa, if you just would have gone a huge skull logo on the front, that would have been one of the best. That may have been the best winter outdoor game jersey, in my opinion. That may have even surpassed the cannon for the Blue Jackets. And I'm not saying that it doesn't always work. I think some of them, when they did the word font, some of them I thought looked pretty cool. But again, it's a safe, conservative way to do it. And again, some of those jerseys kind of, after a while, kind of grew on me a little more like Detroit's last year. I mean, look, it really wasn't fair. Because the Blue Jackets did this huge cannon jersey. I mean, Detroit, it would have taken something for them to beat that. They could have done something. They could have done like a huge octopus or something on the front. They could have done the big wheel, like the winged wheel, like something huge, whatever on the front of the jersey. Octopus would have been cool for the Red Wings. That may have. I mean, you had two teams that just go all out. But over time, I mean, that jersey kind of grew on me, and it is to the point where I would like to have one in the collection. But I mean, I was all about that Columbus jersey last year. That cannon. And it wasn't just a cannon. The captain and the alternate captains had the state of Ohio around, and that outline of Ohio. It's little things like that jersey was just one of the best, and they went all out, and it worked. I mean, it absolutely worked. I thought what the Blackhawks did last year, even though it was a classic looking jersey, beautiful. I loved how they did it. How that jersey, how it was executed, was done really well. But again, you go back to this year's the two teams, and you get Tampa. Look, I got it because I really like that patch. And the patch kind of, the skull patch kind of sold me on the jersey. I just wish I just wish they did something on the front. And the colors I think look good. They're not exactly traditional Tampa Bay Lightning colors, but they look good, and I'm sure they're going to look good on the ice. But again, that TBL. I don't know. I mean, look, when the Rangers, a few years ago, when the Rangers wore that NYR jersey, I thought that popped. And I wish I got one. I never did. But, I mean, looking at the jersey, I've seen people wearing it. On the ice, it looked really good. And it works for the Rangers because they've had that Rangers, New York or Rangers down the front of their jersey slanted down the front of the jersey forever. So that's like a Rangers thing, right? So they did the NYR. I mean, it works for them because that's kind of their thing. It was big letters, big and bold. They could have done something else. They could have done the Lady Liberty. They could have done, something like that. But, them doing the big NYR, I thought, and in those colors, because it was a white jersey and the Ranger, the red, white, and blue, it looked really good. It really did. And that's one of my favorite Stadium Series uniforms, too, even though I don't own one. Even as a Flyers fan, I have to admit to it, because I just like the big boldness of it. And it works for them, because, again, that's their thing, right? That word mark, that slanted word mark that they've had on the front of their sweaters forever, 100 years now, right? So that works for them. But for Tampa, I know they've done bolts before, and they've done that, but they didn't need the TBL. They didn't need that. Like that was, if you're going to go word mark font, maybe go bolts. Maybe the O could have been a skull. I mean, you could have done something, but it did. Like I saw that when they unveiled them. I was watching the hockey on TNT last week, and that's when or ESPN rather, and that's when they unveiled them. I'm like, at first I saw that Tampa one right away. I'm like, oh, they could have done something else. I mean, Boston's aesthetically looks. I mean, the yellow jersey, they've done those before. It looks okay. I mean, but I. Yeah, even them. I just wish that for these outdoor games. I just wish the teams would just go all out, just go crazy with the uniform, because again, it's a one-time wear unless you decide to wear it as an alternate. And some teams, including my Flyers, have done that. The Flyers have done it twice. They were the black alternate, which they haven't worn this year. I guess they got rid of it, but that jersey that they wore prior to this year, that was the Stadium Series when they played the Penguins in Pittsburgh, and then they made it their alternate. One of my all-time favorite Flyer uniforms and outdoor game uniforms is when they played the game at Citizens Bank Park against the Rangers. And that jersey that they wore with the felt, beautiful. The C or the A captain logo in the keystone shape, it was just a wonderful looking jersey. And then they brought it back as their alternate jersey, and they wore it for a few years. And I was so happy to see it. I wish they would bring it back. I really do. I think that's one of their all-time great uniforms. But it was supposed to be just a one-time wear. But people loved it enough, and the Flyers certainly did. They brought it back as an alternate, and they did it again with the black jerseys, which they seem to have done away with. But yeah, I mean, that's why the numbers on those jerseys, even as an alternate, that's why the sleeve numbers are so big, because they were the Stadium Series. They just brought it back as an alternate, but they kept everything to the specs of the Stadium Series. The only thing not on it was the Stadium Series patch. It was a loss in Pittsburgh. It wasn't a very memorable game, but the jersey looked good. Flyers have only won one outdoor game. Beat the Penguins at the Link, the home of the champs. Yeah, my friend TJ Fan and I, we have this ongoing thing. It's like, we Flyers, hopefully they're not an outdoor game, because that's going to be a loss. And every time they're in it, then we get kind of excited. We watch the game together. We get the gear, and then it's a loss. Only once have they won, and we celebrate. We were happy. Like, oh my God, we won an outdoor game. Against the Penguins. But no, so that was pretty much what happened there. I do want to get to a Sixer game when they're wearing the black jersey. I just, even though I still can't believe it's a classic throwback now. Oh God. But I do want to get to a game. One of those games where they're going to wear it as, their uniform for the night, and they do the court and everything. So that's cool. It's cool to see it again. It's one of those things. I think Philly has always had some cool looking throwbacks. They brought back, obviously, the Eagles with the Kelly Greens, the Sixers with the Iverson era black uniforms and that logo and everything. The Phillies, the powder blues, unbeatable still. Although there are some others that I kind of hope they bring back at some point as an alternate throwback, like the white from that era with the fat P on the front. I mean, that was a cool looking jersey. They haven't really embraced it as much as and I get it. The powder blue is another color. It's a beautiful. It's still my all time favorite Phillies jersey. So I may have a few teensy in the collection, but I love that uniform, and it still looks great. And they were in the playoffs too, so they've more than embraced that uniform. But it just still looks great. But I would love to see them bring back the old fat P, pinstripes from the from the 70s and 80s into the early 90s. The Saturday Night Special burgundy, and I know Their record in them is 0-2. Including the game I was at years ago against Atlanta. But I'd love to see them again because they still look good. They pop. And even the gray, even the old road gray that, Mitchell and Ness made a few years ago, that, with the racing stripes going down. I think if they wore those, they would have to wear them on the road because, gray at home might not be. And powder blue, whether people know it or not, they wear the road jerseys, and now they wear them at home. But the gray might be a little much to wear at home. But if they wore that as like a road alternate, I would love to see them again. I think they looked really good back then, and I still, it's one that they never really embraced because it wasn't a very good time in their team history. They weren't very good. But the jersey was nice. The jersey popped. And if they're going to, they've embraced the Fat P. They have, they've done it with the powder blues. So why not just go full? Just embrace them all. Just bring them. And I know you can only do one a year or whatever, but I'd like to see them back, to do something else. So we'll see. It's cool to see. I know, you get the feels right. This is, throwbacks, but it's cool to see it when they and any team brings back their old look. We had a game last Thursday night, Tampa Bay and Atlanta. Tampa Bay's wearing the old, the creamsicles, the Bucko Bruce, and the Falcons are wearing their old uniforms with the red helmets. Atlanta just needs to go back to that. What they wear is their regular with the ATL. No. Go to those full time. You can even do the red helmet. Go to those. Have the white version. You can do a red one as an alternate. Bring all those from the 80s and 90s back into their fold because, they look so good when they wear them. Oh boy, do they! And it was interesting because they both wore a solid throwback color on the field at the same time. You usually don't see that, right? One team's wearing the white jersey, the other so them having it both in that kind of matchup, that was cool to see. That really was. Who was it? I think it was the hockey. They've done it. Hockey. Some teams in the NHL, I think they wore the solid color throwback, and the other one wore their solid color home uniform, and they said it usually doesn't happen, but it's happened a few times. It looks good enough that they're considering, doing a little more of it. But we'll see. The NBA, obviously, they don't have a designated home and away uniform. It's just basically, it's all figured out before the season, but there's really no thing like that in the NBA anymore. The NHL, there is. NFL, there is. And in baseball, there is. Although baseball, with the city, the city connects and all, they've done all different kind of stuff. And I hear NHL, and I think I've said this before, the NHL wants to do something like that too. With the success of the reverse retros years ago, with the success of City Connect, City Edition jerseys, and now the rivalry edition for the NFL, the sales have been all good. So the NHL is I'm sure they're going to get involved, and it won't be long before they're throwing different alternates at us. I would love to see them do the model that the MLB has done, where it's a certain amount of teams a year, but you're contracted to wear those uniforms, I think 4 years. I would love to see that because A, you would see them longer, and B, you would have more opportunity to buy them in the future, like it is for the City Connects for baseball. If something's gone, the next year they wear them again, they bring it all back, all the merchandise comes back, you have another chance to get it, right? Same thing for hockey, and I think that's the one thing about the reverse retro, and I get it. The NBA does it with their City Edition. They do it every year. Every team wears them, and they throw them all out on Fanatics the one day. It's like City Edition Day or whatever they call it. The NHL did it with the reverse retros, but the tough part about that is that if it was really a popular jersey, it was gone, and when it was gone, it was gone, and they only wore it for 1 year, so you wouldn't even have a chance the next year to, if they could follow the model that baseball has, where you only pick a few, or even the NFL did with their rivalry, but I believe those are only going to be a 1-year deal. But so I'll stick to baseball. With their City Connects, with what they do, it's only a certain amount of teams a year, and then the next year it's the other amount of teams, but the teams continue to wear them, right? And I hope the NHL does that. I don't think they will, but it would be a way to just get the merch if you can't get it right away. Maybe they'll restock more, knowing they're going to wear it again the next year, or you just you have to be patient. Unless you can find it on secondary market at a good price, you get it the next year because they're going to wear it again. Like there's a few of those reverse retros that are still eluding me. The Panthers 2.0, the Avalanche when they did the Quebec Nordiques and the Avalanche colors. They just so popular, they've gone in seconds, and you never have another chance at them. So I'm hoping that the NHL kind of learns from that, or you wear them for a number of years, where it's not just a 1 year and it's done, right? They have like a 3-year, deal or something where they have to wear them every year for 3 years as an alternate or something like that. Because then you still have chances at that stuff. Once it sells out, you can still get it down the road. It was my one gripe about the reverse retros. I thought some of them were awesome. And some of them I just didn't move on right away, because you are playing that game of chicken, right? It's like, all right, well, you're trying to figure which ones are going to sell out, right away. You kind of move on those, and which ones can you wait a little bit? And to be honest, I didn't think that Panthers one was going to sell out the way it did. That 2.0, I just didn't. Like, I looked at that jersey, and I liked it. But I'm like, I think that one might have, and it was the most popular from that year. And I'm like, really? And I know they're a good team. So obviously, being a good team, your merch is going to sell. But people like that more than I thought people would like it, I knew right away the Avalanche with that, bringing back the old Quebec Nordiques logo would be cool, would be something big. But I still didn't go after it, even though they're my favorite Western team. That was a mistake. I didn't get either of them. I didn't get when they did the Colorado flag color uniform. It is what it is. I'll get them eventually. Vegas, I didn't move on either of them, and I kind of figured the one that glowed in the dark would be a popular one, but I just I had some chances because they were on eBay. There's some selling, and they weren't gouging. I mean, there was a couple of them on my watch list for a while, and then they eventually sold because I didn't move on them right away. And I went after other things, and it's all about making decisions. So anyhow, but yeah, we'll see what the NHL does with them. To be continued, right? As far as, like I said, collecting resolutions about the collection, yeah, I mean, I just got to continue to do my thing. I mean, I do hope to catalog the collection. That's one of the things that Rez was talking about doing with his Cena collection, and a buddy of his, that's has a crazy Cena collection, and they're going to work together to do it. Yeah, it's something I want to do. It's just I know how much work it's going to be. And I'm a procrastinator as it is, so obviously it didn't happen this year. So hopefully next year I can do it, because I really want to do an Excel thing and have each jersey listed and, the company that made it and, what have you, just to have that whole kind of deal, which basically YouTube has kind of been me cataloging my collection in a way. But, it would be good to put something on a, like a file or something on a computer. But we'll see. We'll get there. But as far as collecting actual items, I kind of gave away a few of them that I would like to get. Like I told you, the alternate Blackhawks with Bedard, but it has to have the A. It has to have the A. If I can get the Wild anniversary jersey with the patch, with the 25th, I'll do that. There's some other stuff out there, but that's the immediate, those are some of the ones that I would like to grab at some point that I can think of that are just popping in my mind, There's other stuff, though. But anyhow, I'm just gonna continue to do what I do, and the same thing with this channel. I'm just gonna, this is who I am. This is what I do, and I'm glad that people enjoy it. I enjoy doing it. I've done this for since 2009, so it's just going to continue for another year. And I just hope to bring you all as much entertainment as I can, whether it's doing this series, the other series, the vehicle vlogging. And I would like to get out and about more, but I don't have all that fancy equipment. Like Rez was showing me his microphones that can muffle out the sound so he can film without worrying about the music for the copyright claims. I don't have those, and I don't know if I will really ever have them. I don't know. Never say never. But so going out and filming, and yeah, I mean the copyright stuff, but I'm not monetized. Maybe it's not as big a deal for me as it would be for people who are. But I would like to do more stuff out and about. But there's always that music stuff out there, and it's like, it is what it is. But I really wish I really wish that the copyright stuff would get a little more lax with that kind of stuff. I understand it. I get why it's there, but I do wish it would back off just a bit. Let people do what they. Let us do what we do. Without worrying of copyright claims all over the place. But it is what it is. Anyhow, let me show these hats, and then I'm gonna end this video. It's been over an hour. So thanks for joining me for this long as it is. So we got 4 hats here. We got this one. This is the Phillies have always done a great job with their minor league systems. Their minor league systems do a great job promoting and coming up with unique logos and theme nights and stuff. Still, one of my all-time favorites is the Mummers that the Iron Pigs did a couple years ago, last year, I believe. Awesome theme night. So one of the minor league systems, I think it's the 1A affiliate to the Phillies, the Jersey Shore Blue Claws. So they're doing they're doing an alternate hat, and I guess the uniform too. But the hat is the Liberty Bell, but they're Jersey Shore, so it has the beach pail as the bell with the shovel. We're all young. We remember if you live in an area where you had beaches, you remember going out with the shovel and pail, make your beach sandcastles. That's basically the idea for this. You got the bat there. I just really liked it. When I saw it, good gray under. Of course, the two-tone, makes it pop too. Minor league logo, new air fitted 5950, but a really cool looking logo. And I like the colors too. So there you go for that. And then I had already had this in my cart, and Slim alerted me to it. And recently I found out from Hat Club that I was a winner for their football picks. I do the weekly picks on the app. And if you're the winner, you get I think it was like 2,500 points or whatever it is. And there, for a while, I didn't even really know about the point system with them, so I had a lot of points anyhow. And then I went from having a lot of points to having a lot of points because I was their weekly winner. I forget what week it was, but somewhat recently, and I had made I had the most correct picks. All you have to do is pick, who wins week to week in the football, each game. Okay, I think the Eagles are going to beat the Raiders. Pick the Eagles, right? And you just go game by game. And that week I was perfect, so I didn't miss a pick. And I was the winner for that week, so I got the 2,500 points or whatever it was from Hat Club. And you could put the points, like you could put it towards purchases. And it gives you a whole tier of like anywhere from $5 off to $100 off, depending on how many points you had. So I was able to actually I used it twice so far, and I was able to put it towards some fitteds. And the only thing is you can't take advantage of that if the hat's on sale. So if the hat's on sale, you can't stack it with the points. Kind of wish you could, but they don't want to completely give things away, right? So if it's a regular price item, you can do the point system, and you see it as you're checking out, and it gives you the tier of what you can use. So I use the highest tiers to get, just, I got these things for so cheap because of it. So I got the Cincinnati Bengals. So you think of, Carson Palmer, you think of Corey Dillon, you think of those guys. Even Ocho Cinco, a young Ocho Cinco, um, Peter Warwick, the different players that wore the uniform where they had the leaping tiger on the sleeves, and I have the home and away set for Corey Dillon. So this hat will go perfect with those. And the stickers are still on. I'll get the stickers off because, like I said many times, I don't leave the stickers on the hats. Black gut. So this is the new era, just tonal, black, but that big leaping tiger that I wish they would wear those uniforms again as a throwback or whatever, because those were super cool. And then we're going to go to the latest pick. So that was Hat Club. This one came right from the Jersey Shore Blue Claws store online. And these are Hat Club as well. And I must have gotten like 5 or 6 notifications from Hat Club via text message or email or whatever. Oh, your package has arrived. I guess with the holidays, they're really trying to, make sure you know that your package is there. So this one, and again, I got these real cheap because I had all those points. This one was one that hit their site a little earlier. I guess a couple months ago, and obviously I'm an Eagles fan, but one of my favorite teams outside of the Eagles was the '99 Rams. Greatest show on turf. When they won that Super Bowl and all, because I was a big Marshall Faulk fan growing up. So I just missed out on an authentic home Marshall Faulk jersey. And a Puma from that year. I'm like, hopefully it went to a good home. But I do have the Mitchell Ness one with the patch. This one was just a Puma authentic without the Super Bowl patch. And I'm like, I have, because from the same seller, I got the road blue authentic. But I was too slow. He put shout out to D. He posted it on the group on Facebook, and I just didn't see it quick enough. And when I hit him up about it, it already sold. I said, So, but I have the Mitchell Ness one with the the Super Bowl logo. But that one got away. But anyhow, we have the Rams. It has the navy blue. I kind of would prefer this if it had the royal blue, but beggars can't be choosers. Because you don't see the Super Bowl logo on too many Rams hats from when they won, when they were the greatest show on turf. Rams on the back. And I like also the fact they just said Rams. Because obviously if they tried the LA Rams, it really wouldn't have worked with this because they were the St. Louis Rams at the time. And you got the old St. Louis, the old LA and St. Louis Ram helmet on the front. And it's got the pink under, so it's a pinky. But again, I thought it looked pretty cool with the logo. So this will go with some of those jerseys. It would have gone with the Marshall Faulk too. Authentic Puma, but MightyFan didn't move quick enough on that one. But anyhow, not that I'm bitter. And and we have another box here. I want to give a shout out to Justin for this. He alerted me. One of the guys in our groups I've done some business with in the past, and he alerted me to this. He said as soon as he saw it, he thought of me, and this was another Hat Club exclusive. Beautiful hat. The metallic twill on this is just insane. So we got the Phillies with the tail sweeper logo. Look at that! Look at that metal! Look at that shine! Ooh, on the black tonal though. Oh, and it's got the All-Star logo for next year for 2026. And the Batterman. Nice piece right there. Kind of Sixers vibe too. The Sixers. I can wear this. I can wear this with the black Sixers uniforms because it's got that colorway to it as well. But yeah, beautiful hat in person. And like I said, I probably would have seen it eventually, but shout out to Justin for, alerting me to it. So when I saw it, it was a must. And like I said, I had all those points, so I got a considerable amount off of these two, the Rams and the Bengals had as well. But that was the previous purchase. Yeah, but that is it for me. There is nothing else to talk about. Believe it or not, I've gone 100 an hour and 15 minutes so far of yapping on and then showing some hats. But hope you all enjoyed it. Hope you're all doing well. Hope the holiday season is going well for all of you. I have one more gift card to buy for the mailman from Wawa, and then I'm completely done with my holiday gift shopping. So we'll get to that gift card this week, and I'll be done. I'll be completely done. I'm happy about that. That's one less thing. One less thing on the plate here, right? But hopefully holiday season's going well for all of you so far. Hope you're all doing well, and thanks as always for all the support to the channel. What do you always gotta do? You gotta leave those likes, like. You gotta make sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. Trying to get to 2K subs. If it happens before the end of this year or not, that's it is what it is. If not, I will continue to try to get the 2K subs into 2026. But you all can make it happen. Tell your family, tell your friends. It's free to do. Just hit the subscribe button, and it's very much appreciated. And make sure you hit the bell icon as well, so you're always up to date with all future content from yours truly. I have a lot of things to get to. There's In the Life Iced, maybe some more In the Life. There may even be a vehicle vlog or two, throughout the holiday season. You just never know. So you never want to miss. Maybe a Mighty Reviews too. We'll see. But you never want to miss anything. So you got to do those rules of YouTube, right? You got to make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. And they're free to do. So, why not? All right, everyone. Well, thanks again for giving me a good chunk of your time. I'm going to stop blabbing now. I'm going to go get something to eat. And that's going to do it for me. But again, a big shout out to my buddies, Big Slim and Resurrection. Rez, safe travels home. Hope you made it home safe and sound. Hope all your stuff got home safe and sound. I was glad. I was so glad for you that you were able to have such a great experience at the main event and seeing his last wrestling event. And I hope it was everything that you were hoping for and then some. And I was happy to be a small part of it to help get you to and from the arena. And, Slim, obviously, for his hospitality. And, we enjoyed the visit. So, anyhow, that's going to do it for me for real now. But I'll see you again on the channel real soon. And y'all take care again. Happy holidays, everyone. You can't see me anymore. I'm gonna turn the off button on. So now that's gonna do it. All right, everyone. I'll see you in the next. You will see me in the next one. All right.